It's Monday, September 17th. Yesterday was 90 degrees and windy. This morning is 56 and mostly calm. We got a little bit of rain coming this afternoon, but we're gonna start shuffling things around. We're gonna get some equipment out of this shed, and we're gonna get the combine, the 9870 at least, moved into the big shed, and we're gonna be doing something exciting with that this afternoon. I've got a guy coming up from Nebraska. His name is Ben, and you guys are gonna be excited to see what we're gonna do with that thing. Are you excited that harvest is coming?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna drive a lot of tractor and combine, aren't we?
Yeah.
So it's time to start the machine that everybody loves. You ready, Isla? You gonna drive it? Let's do it.
I can't get on it. I can't get on.
You can't get on the seat? Ready?
That's a noise.
Here we go.
This is a noisy.
For those of you new to the channel, I hope you're excited about harvest. This is the first day we're bringing our combine out. We got two machines. This is our main machine. This is the one we use on corn. This is a John Deere 9870. We don't have an S-Series combine mainly because they're so dang expensive yet. I'm sure there's probably an S-Series in our future, but for right now, we've had really good luck with the 70 series. For those who have been with us, we've always had an 8-row header. Check out what we picked up at an auction here a month ago. That's right, 12 rows. I don't know how we're gonna keep up with only 3 trucks, but we're gonna be eating some corn now. Skies are getting blue to the west, and the yard is getting green. We're in, Isla. All right, we got the combine in the shed. I got Ben here from Farm Focused. We got this new 12-row header. We're a little bit concerned about the power issues going with this 12-row header instead of the 8-row because we're pretty sure that all of our corn's gonna yield about 300 bushels to the acre this year. So Ben is here to help me add some horsepower to this machine. What are we gonna do today?
That's right. So what we're gonna do, we'll take this piece of equipment, we'll hook up to it, take a reading, and then we'll go ahead and reformat the file, add a little bit of power to it. Get her off and running. This piece of equipment will give you some adjustability as far as power goes. So a couple different power levels you can run throughout the year depending on what you're doing. Maybe if you're getting some tougher beans and you want a little more power, you can turn it up a little bit with that. So that'll be the deal. It's pretty simple.
So can you explain to me how exactly does this thing add more power, and how do we make sure that we're not hurting anything internally within the engine?
Yeah, absolutely. So this machine has the 13.5 liter engine in it, Deere's big motor.
Yep.
And that motor is...
Big motor.
Yeah, the big motor. That motor is used in a lot of different applications with much more power than this.
Yep. Okay.
So it's all done through software. So we'll get in, we'll work on the software, basically adjust all the parameters on how the engine runs.
Yep.
And just let it open itself up a little bit.
But we know that the internal guts are going to be able to handle that extra power. It's just a matter of changing the software to be able to...
That's right.
Give it to the hardware.
Yeah. The whole idea, you know, the reason we do this is because this scenario like you're talking about, guys go out, they're investing in bigger heads, other equipment, and they need the machine to be more capable. And you don't want to have to go out and buy a newer, bigger machine, right, and spend hundreds of thousands of dollars. Yep. So we're gonna come out and help the farmer and get that set up.
Perfect. Let's do it.
Yeah. All right. Inside the box, you've got the proper cable for, you know, whatever the application is. So in this case, being a Deere unit with our round plug there, and then you've got your USB cable to hook up to the computer. Okay. After we take the reading. Okay. So we're gonna get a reading off of where the engine is right now. Exactly. Is that the CAN bus? Is that what they call that one? Yep. Okay. Yep. Same thing I charge or plug my field view into. Yeah. Yep. So we just go in here to work and we find the machine. So we're gonna go ahead and identify it. Okay. And again, this is all very self-explanatory. You know, it says hook up the battery charger, you know, make sure you have good battery power, make sure the dashboard's on, and then it starts communicating.
Okay. So it's reading right now.
Actually, right now it's just identifying the engine computer.
Okay.
So it's seeing what computer is in there and then deciding what, it's called a protocol, what protocol to use to communicate with that computer. All right, so now there's 2 more steps here. So we're gonna go into this tool and we're gonna take an EEPROM reading. Now the importance of that is if the engine computer were to hiccup or crash during communication, we have this EEPROM reading saved, and we would need that to reflash the computer to make sure it would still be functional.
Okay.
The error rarely ever happens, but when you're dealing with electronics, when you're dealing with computers, you know, it's best to do the safest process. So now we'll go ahead and do the actual reading on the engine computer. Now on these Deere units, for the most part, this process is pretty quick. It's usually no more than a couple of minutes.
So we've got a Kenworth W900 with a Cummins in it that doesn't have nearly enough horsepower. Can you boost that?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
We can crank that one right up for you. So as you can see, we're just about done reading. And what's nice about this, when we go to write the new file on here, it's going to be about the same amount of time.
Okay.
So it's fairly quick.
Yep.
So again, when you're out in the field, we're going to have multiple tunes on this machine. So if you wanted to adjust power, this is about how long it would take you to adjust the power.
Okay. With that, just using that same handheld unit out in the field.
That's right. Yep. Okay, so now it's back to the main screen. The reading's complete. That file is on this. So we're going to go ahead and hook that up to the laptop and get the file, and then get to working on tuning.
Write something more.
Yep.
Okay. What does a company like John Deere think of a system like this? I mean, what's the sense that you get as far as their opinion on doing this?
Sure. In my local market, we deal with a lot of the Deere dealers and technicians directly.
Yep.
Because the fact is that this is going on, and they're the guys that are working on the machines and having to perform the service.
Right.
And it really all comes down to who's writing the file. The quality and the professionalism of the actual tuner is what makes the difference. If it's a good quality tune, the local guys at the manufacturer, at the dealer, understand that we're not causing damage to the machine, and everything's okay, and it's going to work.
And that's pretty much when I called the guys that I trust at our Deere dealer about this. That's basically exactly what they said. If you do it right, there's no harm going to be done.
Right.
You better not screw this up.
That's right. That's exactly right.
We decided after talking what we're going to do is we're going to come up with a few different options. We're going to have a 50 horsepower increase, a 75, and a 100, along with the stock settings where it's at right now.
Yep.
And we talked about doing that because we kind of thought 50 it's over a 10% horsepower increase. It's going to be noticeable. And we're going to start with the 75, kind of see how it does. If we want more, we can go to the 100. If we want less, we can pull it down. Maybe in case there's a fuel burn, high fuel burn, we can pull it down.
Sure, it gives you a lot of options.
Yeah.
And the way this works is that every single machine is custom tuned. So I can't come with a file ready to go.
Gotcha.
Because it has to be based off of this stock reading.
Yep.
So what we do is we take this file, and the software itself is actually adjusted and written and locked by a company in Illinois called Calibrated Power.
Okay.
So this is what they do. They work on diesel engines, they write software, they have all the R&D. I work back and forth with those guys. We also own a dyno. So we'll go and say we're tuning a tractor. We'll go out and work on that tractor, install their file. I'll run the dyno. We'll see what the results are. They'll make some adjustments, then we'll rerun the dyno. So it's kind of a back and forth.
So it's a mobile dyno?
Yes, that's right. Yep.
Like a PTO or
PTO.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. What we're doing right now is we're formatting this file, and then we're going to send this to my guy at Calibrated, and we're going to talk to him about the power levels that we want. He'll get that done on their end, send it back to me. We'll load it and install it. Perfect. Yep. James, can you hear me, bud?
Yes, I can.
All right. So as I said, we work with Calibrated Power on formatting these files. These guys are the experts. They spend all their time on the R&D and making sure this stuff's right. These guys have tuned hundreds of agricultural pieces of equipment. I've tuned tons of them with them myself. We know it works well. James, you're here with the Millennial Farmer, Zach, and what we've talked about is giving him some adjustability. So we're looking for a 50, a 75, and a 100 horse file. that are going to be used for different circumstances depending on what they're doing in the field. And James, what do you think about that?
Yeah, we've done quite a few upgrades on these, the 9870s, and 50 and 75 is definitely within factory specifications. 75 is just about a 17% upgrade. I've had pretty good success in that area there. I do feel it's capable of running 100 horsepower for the most part pretty safely. I would say if you stick with that 75-50 area for the most part, run the 100. In those one-off situations where you use just a little bit more bump, I think you'll be in a real good spot there.
Yeah, so that's really the idea. You have that option if you need it,
right?
And most of the time you're not needing it. So
perfect.
Different settings. So
yeah, I think that sounds good to me.
All right, buddy. Well, I got the file sent off to you, so we'll let you do your thing, and then let me know when everything's ready.
Yeah, absolutely. I got it right here, and I'll be working on it right away.
All right.
Let you know.
Thanks, man.
I drug Ben from Farm Focused up from Nebraska with me, and I've got Zach Johnson, the Millennial Farmer.
I mean, in some areas of the country, you could go just a few counties over, and they're farming completely different.
Yeah.
Different practices, different equipment.
Yeah, if you go 10 miles east of here, there's irrigators where guys grow corn and sweet corn and peas, sugar beets. They got some sunflowers. Yeah, we all shoot for yields and we all try and hit our highest market price and stuff like that. But when it comes down to it, I mean, I know it sounds cliche, but farming is a livelihood, and just to be able to do it and keep the business going and take pride in physically doing something. That's what makes me feel good, is to just be able to do what I was born to do. All right, we got our email back. Tell us what we're working with now. What do we got?
So what we got back from our guys at Calibrated is 3 modified files. So the 50 horsepower increase to 75 and the 100.
Yep.
So at this point, what we do is we just download them to the machine, to the desktop, and then we use our communication software here to install those files onto the handheld unit. When this is plugged into that machine, and that machine only, because it's custom tuned for that machine, you'll see the option of whichever one of the 4 you don't have installed at the moment to switch to.
Perfect.
We'll show you the download to the machine itself, but again, just hooking up in the diagnostic port and hit and go in a matter of a couple of minutes, you got a different power level.
Awesome.
Yep. Everything's installed, so it's really the same thing as we did earlier, but instead of reading, we're writing now. So you can see there's a plus 50, plus 75, and plus 100. You don't see stock in here as an option because stock is on it right now. So after you load, say we load 75 right now, if you plug this in again later, you're going to see stock 50 and 100 as your options.
Got it. Yep.
So we're going to go ahead, we're just going to start with the 75. It's a good middle starting point. We hit OK. Same scenario, it just tells you to make sure you got good battery, make sure the key's on, and now it's going to do the same thing where it's going to start communication with the ECU. It'll identify the ECU, and then we'll go ahead and start flashing the new file in. This is what I was telling you about, where you'll start getting some of these error messages when it's actually communicating.
Yep, gotcha.
Then you can see the status of the communication. So
okay.
So it's checking against the engine computer right now, just making sure that the write was successful, and then it sees what it expects to see. Builds this log that is basically just all the buttons that we pushed and everything it did. So in a scenario that maybe you have a hiccup or you have a problem, we can grab that log and look at it and figure out what happened and fix things.
Try to reverse it or fix it.
Yep. So we have lots of safety features in place as far as that goes. And that's that, man. It's done. It's back to the home screen. So what we do is we just shut everything down, let this shut off, unplug it, find a place that you want to store it, and you're off and running.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So when we fire it up now, is it going to sound like a jet engine?
It might.
It might.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You're gonna be going through the field like a jet engine.
Yeah.
No, it should be good, man. I think you guys will be real happy with it. That's a great power increase as far as that level goes.
Yeah.
And you're definitely gonna feel it in the seat.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was good timing to get in touch with you with this 12-row header.
For sure.
Is there any maintenance issues that we need to do anything differently with now?
Nothing. If you're keeping up on your maintenance, then you're good. Obviously you want to stay on top of keeping your coolers clean.
Yep.
Having a good maintenance schedule on all your filters.
Yep.
As long as you're doing all that, you're good to go.
We're good.
Yep. And also kind of what you and I had talked about, and I'm sure you'll do this throughout the season, but take a good look at your fuel usage, your gallons per acre, your gallons per hour, the ground speed that you're able to run in certain scenarios, and do some comparisons with the stock file and one of these modified files. And I think what you're going to see, you're going to be real happy with.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm looking forward to trying it out.
Yeah.
All right, Ben. I'm looking forward to this. It's awesome that we can take a machine like this and just program it to add 75 horsepower or 100 horsepower to it like nothing.
Yeah.
Why don't you go ahead, tell my viewers how they can get in touch with you in case they're interested in the same thing.
For sure. Well, first of all, thanks for having us out, man. It's been fun. We appreciate it. Yeah. So if anybody'd like to get a hold of us, maybe learn a little bit more about what we can do for your machine, farmfocus.com. It's pretty simple. It has my contact info on there. My name's Ben. So Ben at FarmFocused is my email address. You can find us on Instagram or Facebook. You can message us on either one of those platforms as well. But that'd be the easiest way to get a hold of us, and we can get you some info quick, let you know what your machine's capable of and what it would cost and all those types of things and how it would all work. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Yep. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks for watching, guys.